Security, Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort, broadcasting on all emergency frequencies. We are under full-scale assault. I repeat, this is not a drill. Hostile forces identified as Russian PMC unit Lightning Shark have breached the main perimeter. They made landfall near the Dinosaur Park entrance using heavy ground vehicles and aerial drones. The situation escalated in minutes. Multiple structures have sustained damage, including the aviary, chocolate production hall, and roller coaster platform. The hotel villas are in lockdown, but we have tourists and staff still trapped in the aquarium, water park, and confectionery showroom. Security personnel are outnumbered and outgunned. We've initiated emergency protocol Lancelot 7 and sealed off Sector C, but it won't hold much longer without backup. Resort power grid is compromised, reserves running on 52%. Requesting immediate assistance from NEADF, AFB, or UN peacekeeping units within range. We need aerial surveillance, medevac, and ground support. Civilians are priority. Repeat, civilians are priority. This facility is more than a resort. It holds key infrastructure and production capabilities tied to the regional supply chain. If it falls completely, the damage won't just be local. Holding our ground in the main lobby for as long as possible. Reinforcements must come now or never. Gowan out.
I'm home.
What'll it be tonight?
I just want a relaxing night on the couch. Perhaps something a little bit more irresistible. Not bad. But
rich cream, crunchy biscuit, and luscious Tim Tam chocolate. Come home to the magic of a Tim Tam. What more could you wish for?
What? Grizzly bear?
In Australia?
Run.
Wait, I got this.
What? A good one, Gary.
This is an emergency warning. The current threat level is critical, meaning that a major hostile event is in progress and poses an immediate threat to life, infrastructure, and national security. Russian private military company Lightning Shark has made an armed and coordinated landfall at Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort in Kangaroo Valley, New South Wales. The incursion has resulted in a rapidly escalating combat zone, endangering the lives of guests, employees, and residents in surrounding areas. The motives behind the Russian PMC's attack remain under investigation, but early intelligence suggests a deliberate attempt to destabilize critical civilian infrastructure and exploit Australia's key tourism and production facilities during a time of global conflict. Lancelot Chocolate Factory, being a major food and hospitality hub and one of Australia's symbolic cultural sites, appears to have been strategically targeted. Several resort facilities have sustained heavy damage, including the confectionery factory, aviary, hotel villas, and water park. Explosions were reported in the Dinosaur Park and Ferris wheel area, with fires spreading through the recreational zones. The power grid is unstable, and communication systems are partially offline. Emergency responders are encountering resistance within the property. Preliminary casualty reports confirm 19 fatalities, 47 injured, and an estimated 230 guests and staff currently unharmed but trapped in various sectors of the resort. Rescue efforts are ongoing. All civilians in Kangaroo Valley and nearby towns including Barangarry, Budgong, Beaumont, and Upper Kangaroo River are advised to stay away from the Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort under all circumstances. This location is now considered an active conflict zone. Avoid roads leading to the resort, and do not attempt to retrieve loved ones. Emergency services are conducting coordinated evacuations. Airspace in the area has been restricted, and curfews may be enforced if the threat expands. In response, United States Marines, the Australian Defence Force, Australian Federal Police, and UN peacekeeping forces have been deployed to neutralise the hostile PMC elements, secure remaining infrastructure, and extract all civilians from the resort compound. Reinforcements are arriving by land and air to ensure containment of the threat and to restore order. This attack comes just 2 days after United Nations Day, amid a broader global conflict triggered by rogue private military companies. Australia, along with multiple allied nations, is under coordinated assault, and martial law may be declared if threats intensify. Remain indoors, stay informed via official government broadcasts, and report any suspicious activity to 000. Your safety is our priority. This is a developing situation. Updates will follow.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news from Australia, where a full-scale military engagement is unfolding at the iconic Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort in Kangaroo Valley, New South Wales. Coalition forces, including US Marines, the Australian Defence Force, Australian Federal Police, and UN peacekeepers, are in active combat against the Russian private military company known as Lightning Shark. The battle, which erupted earlier today, marks one of the most intense ground conflicts on Australian soil since the onset of what global leaders are now calling the International Dark War of 2035. The Lancelot Resort, a renowned 5-star destination and home to Australia's largest chocolate production facility and wildlife attractions, has become the latest frontline in a sweeping campaign by rogue PMCs. Initial reports confirm that Lightning Shark launched a strategic assault on the facility in an attempt to seize its infrastructure and disrupt regional supply chains. The assault has resulted in significant casualties, infrastructure damage, and hundreds of trapped civilians. Coalition forces arrived via air and ground transport, launching a counteroffensive to secure the perimeter and extract non-combatants. This military escalation follows the coordinated surprise attack on Sydney Harbour just 2 days ago, on United Nations Day, when both Russian and Chinese private military companies carried out a brutal strike that crippled Australia's naval presence and signalled the start of a new era of decentralised warfare. Intelligence analysts suggest the attacks are part of a broader strategy to destabilise democratic nations through private proxy forces operating outside traditional military structures. Australia, now one of the primary battlegrounds in this shadow conflict, has declared a national state of emergency. As of this hour, the battle for Lancelot is still underway. Emergency services are on standby as the coalition forces push toward regaining full control of the resort. Casualties are rising, and airspace remains restricted, with the international community on high alert and major cities across the globe reinforcing their security. This conflict is no longer limited to a regional crisis. It is a global tipping point. Stay with CNN for continuing coverage as the situation develops.
This is Bloomberg Radio. I'm Saito Nakamura, and we are following breaking developments in the ongoing international dark war, a conflict that has redefined the rules of global engagement. One of the most shocking incidents of the week was the violent occupation of the Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort in Kangaroo Valley, Australia, a beloved tourism site and home to the nation's largest chocolate production facility, by the Russian private military group Lightning Shark. Joining us now from an undisclosed location is General Viktor Orlov, a senior commander of the Russian ground forces. General Orlov, thank you for being here. The world is watching. Let's get straight to it. Why did Lightning Shark attack a civilian resort in Australia?
Thank you, Ms. Nakamura. Let me begin by stating clearly. Lightning Shark no longer represents the Russian Federation. This rogue PMC has broken ranks, seized military assets, and acted without the authorization or oversight of the Russian armed forces. Their strike on the Lancelot Resort was not a military operation. It was terrorism, disguised as strategy. They have declared war on stability, on international law, and on the Russian people themselves.
Yet, General, Lightning Shark originated as a Russian state-sanctioned paramilitary group. Reports say they now command stolen Russian tanks, aircraft, and tactical systems. How did a group like this gain so much power, enough to overthrow your own military command and launch global-scale attacks, including this one on Australian soil?
You are correct. Lightning Shark was once an external force utilized for limited, deniable operations. But in the vacuum of fractured global oversight and rising privatized warfare, they went beyond their mandate. They seized critical arsenals, overran bases, and used information warfare to dismantle Russia's legitimate command structure. What they did in Kangaroo Valley, attacking a peaceful tourist destination like Lancelot Chocolate Factory, was meant to send a message, not to Australia, but to the world. No place is sacred. No symbol of civilian life is safe. It's psychological warfare on a global scale.
So, the attack wasn't about chocolate or tourism. It was about control, fear, and spectacle?
Exactly. They targeted Lancelot not just for its symbolic value, but because it represented order, innocence, and economic stability. Their objective was to create chaos, to demoralize the West, and to show that conventional borders and norms no longer apply. But make no mistake, they are enemies of Russia too. We are now working with international partners to eliminate Lightning Shark from every battlefield they've contaminated.
And what's your message today to the families of those trapped or harmed at Lancelot, and to the Australian public?
From one military man to another nation's people. I'm sorry. What happened in Kangaroo Valley is a tragedy born of ambition, betrayal, and unchecked power. Russia will cooperate with all nations willing to stand against rogue militarism. Lightning Shark must fall, for the good of both East and West.
General Orlov, thank you for your time and your candor. This has been a special Bloomberg radio segment. We'll continue tracking developments from Kangaroo Valley and around the globe as the international dark war of 2035 reshapes the world order. Stay with us.
This is a Warrnambool Radio breaking news alert. After days of fierce combat and international concern, the Battle of Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort in Kangaroo Valley has officially come to an end. Coalition forces made up of United States Marine Corps, the Australian Defence Force, Australian Federal Police, and United Nations peacekeepers have successfully repelled the rogue Russian private military company known as Lightning Shark, who violently seized the iconic five-star resort just days ago. With precision, coordination, and overwhelming resolve, the coalition executed final push in the early hours of this morning, reclaiming control of the entire resort complex and securing the surrounding valley. Lancelot, once the site of Australia's largest chocolate production facility and cherished family destination, now stands scarred but not broken. Structural damage across the factory, hotel villas, and attractions is severe. Preliminary assessments from the New South Wales government suggest reconstruction could begin as early as January 2036, with focus on restoring both infrastructure and community morale. Survivors are being treated, families are reuniting, and flags once torn down are flying again. The International Dark War of 2035 sparked just 2 days after United Nations Day by coordinated attacks across Sydney Harbour. Beyond still rages in parts of the world, but here in Australia, this victory marks more than just the end of battle. It signals our unwavering commitment to national sovereignty and peace. From Warrnambool to Kangaroo Valley, we will rebuild, we will defend, and we will stop at nothing to bring this horrific conflict to its end. Once and for all, you're listening to Warrnambool Radio 3 FM. We'll bring you more updates on recovery efforts, international developments as they come in. Stay safe and stay strong, Australia.
This is an emergency update. In the early hours of this morning, coalition forces have successfully pushed back the world private military group Lightning Shark and regained full control of the Lancelot Chocolate Factory and Garden Resort, the iconic five-star destination located in Kangaroo Valley, New South Wales. While this marks a significant victory, the International Dark War of 2035 continues to impact regions across Australia and global community. Despite the challenges, Australia remains steadfast, united in its commitment to security, recovery, and the defense of our people and values. We will not falter, and we will not be broken. According to joint statement from Lancelot Chocolate Holdings EO Jakes Cabramatta and the Government of New South Wales, reconstruction of the resort and surrounding infrastructure is scheduled to begin in early January 2036. Plans are underway to restore not only the resort's facilities, but also essential services, employment, and tourism for the local community. To the residents of Kangaroo Valley, Barangarry, Budong, Beaumont, and nearby towns, your cooperation, resilience, and patience throughout this crisis have been nothing short of heroic. Your government thanks you. Local curfews and access restrictions are expected to ease over the coming week, depending on ongoing security assessments. Normal programming and daily activities in affected zones are expected to resume gradually starting November 6, 2035, pending clearance from emergency services. Further updates will be delivered through official channels. Please continue to follow public safety instructions, remain vigilant, and support one another during this recovery period. This concludes the emergency update. Stay safe, stay informed, and proud Australia.